All right, guys, welcome to another Mighty Recap. Today is going to be a very quick one because I really do have to bounce. And I was very close on quitting on the video today, but I figured I started posting daily so recently that I can't give up on you guys this early. But green day for me, as you can see from the title and thumbnail, I am up around $3,500. Definitely a solid day. I'll show you right here. Biggest winner, HCWC. I know Neil was asking me earlier about this trade. I'll definitely pull up some trades on that ticker. HWC, and then I also traded the OHAD candle XHG. XAG was insane, guys. Like this is getting absurd. This stock went up like almost 2000% in like 30 seconds. Like check this candle out. From 138 all the way up to $18 a share. That is crazy. That is crazy. Like some short sellers definitely blew their accounts on that candle, and some long bias traders made six figures on that candle as well. This is good because it's going to make short sellers more wary, more careful, and more skeptical when shorting, right? They're gonna want to make sure that the stock doesn't have news, that it has a lot of dilution. They're gonna probably, taking starter positions before going all in, and that is going to give us more room of front side, more room for us to run without overhead resistance, and hopefully more range and more volatility for us to make money as long bias traders. Nonetheless, it's kind of annoying to see because I missed it completely. I didn't make any money on that candle. I was very close to punching it, but I don't know. At the time, it was a little lighter on volume. It was also getting very close into the market open. I was pretty much done for the day at that point as well. So I figured I didn't want to risk the profits that I already had. Was maybe sitting up $2,000 at that point. And then that happened. I just saw the level 2 like teleport from $1 to 10 and then instantly to 14. Those are the two digits I remember seeing. And then after seeing a capitulatory candle like that, you're not gonna buy the top, right? I've done that too many times and then caught the knife on the way down to know that the best entry came and went and I didn't take it. And I'm not gonna buy a 14. I'm not gonna buy a 10. I'm not gonna buy a 9. I'm not gonna buy at any point. I did trade it once it kind of like settled down and it gave us a bit of a range. I was buying dips against this ascending support line, and then again every morning I live stream every day in my chat room. If you want to check it out, go into the description. But just before the market open, I do a quick analysis of the stocks that I'm looking at, and I told the guys I will not be touching this at the market open because in case you missed it, this is up already 690%, right? We don't make the money. We don't make our money from 600% to 1,000%. We make our money from 0% to 100, from 0% to 150 to 200%, right? The more extended it gets, the higher the probability of it failing, right? The more extended it gets, the higher the chances that we wake up Steven Ducks and he goes all in short against the ticker, right? So you don't want to be playing against the odds. So I was like, I'm not touching it. On top of that, I knew that hold bands were going to be incredibly tight because this again started as a penny stock. So tomorrow the theme is going to be penny stocks as well. I'm pretty sure of it. Probably for the entirety of the month, we're going to see a lot of penny stocks, which is fine. Honestly, it's fine pre-market. At the market open, it's a halt fest, and it gets very very annoying very quickly. So I didn't touch this. I'm not gonna lie, this looked very bullish as it was halted up right there. But still, I knew I wasn't going to touch it. It gives the nastiest halt gap down even after getting halted up, right? That's maybe a lot of beginner traders not knowing what's going on and putting out a lot of market orders and then screwing up the imbalance and making the stock resume lower when it typically should resume higher because the gap should follow the direction of the halt. Anyways, resumes lower, significantly lower, so much so that it instantly halts down. And then from there you go halted for like 10, 15 minutes or something. I didn't buy any. I wasn't looking for any dips, for any nothing. I knew that I was going to avoid it. And then DFC was the one that gave us a gap and go, and the one that I did trade. Still very nasty halts, right? Very nasty gap downs. And again, the tricky part about trading around halts. FGI. I can't remember what happened with this. Oh, there it is. So I left right here on the second halt because my spider senses were tingling. Like, it was halted up here. I tried buying right here after this resumption. The fact that it was gapping up made me think that, you know, it wasn't one of the scenarios where we gap down and then halted down. It was the opposite. And then because of that, I thought we were going to squeeze. I tried jumping in. I didn't get filled, and then instantly halted up again. And then when it was halted up again, then I thought, right after breaking pre-market highs, I was like, well, now there's a very good chance of this halting down. And the last thing I want is screwing up my entire day and getting stuck on a halt down. So my hairs were standing on my arms, and I was like, I am a gunner. And so I stood up and left. It looks like it resumed a little bit lower. It maybe tried to hold down here, gave a false hold down, rallies back up into a new high, and gets halted back up. Now the games are on. It's gapping up, it's halted up, and it's gapping down, right? And then here, it did go up quite a bit, all the way up to $20 a share. I could hindsight trade it and say that I would have made money if I would have stayed, but I just don't know how the price action looked like. And I know that when a stock goes above $10, it's harder for me to manage risk on them. And I don't know, I'm satisfied with me calling it a day. Today was a good day for me because I worked and improved on the things that I said I was going to, right? I sat down earlier in the morning and I didn't force any trades on the 4, 5, 6 a.m. movers. I saw flow for the first 10, 15 minutes trying to gauge where was the herd mentality, where was the money flow going into, what was kind of like the vibe of the morning. If stocks were making, if the theme was penny stocks again, let's fucking go Tesla. 340, my God. Thank goodness. Please, please get me out of this hole. Actually, I need to sell some of that right now. Please, get me out of this. It's done. Oh, man. Take a look at the daily chart on this. I don't even want to look. Okay, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. Down 6,000. From down like 40 grand at the lows, we will take it. And it's not 6,000 because I sold almost half of my position at like 325-ish, and then lost like 9,000 on that. So 9 plus 6, it was way worse. It was way worse when we were down here at 290s. Thank God. This shit's over. I can finally fucking sleep. I didn't sell on this panic, right? This gap down completely threw my risk management out the window. I was going in on a swing trade with, I was longing against this ascending support, similar to how I did right here. And I had a banging swing right here, almost a 6-figure swing trade. And then I did it again here, and it worked. And I did it again right here. And my risk on a swing trade is not precisely a price point, but it's more of a how it behaves around a zone through a couple of days of price action, That's my stop loss. And if I don't like how it's reacting to a level, that's when I cut the loss. Anyways, this thing got a gap down, right, from like 370s, which was my average, all the way down to like 342, and I wasn't going to cut it there. I just don't like selling in panic. Selling where is a good buy, and that's a tricky philosophy because cutting the loss is never a bad idea. Anyways, I get bagged. It comes down to 296, and all of my guys are asking me, "Are you gonna sell?" I'm like, "I can't sell here. It's stupid. It's like the best buy possible, right? If I wouldn't be long from up there, I would be absolutely swallowing shares down here." So I told them, and I told myself, I even wrote it down on a sticky note because, I can get greedy and be like, oh, 20 more points and I'm back to break even, right? But I told myself on a sticky note, let it bottom out and you sell on the relief bounce. That's exactly what I did. It bottomed out at 296-ish. Relief bounce. I'm cutting it. I'm cutting the loss. It is what it is. It sucks. Whatever. Now, back to day trades. So I'm very happy with how this month is going. All green days across the board so far. But that is not the goal, right? If tomorrow is a red day, I couldn't care less. I don't care about green days. I care about proper execution. And tomorrow, my goal, again, just like today, is going to be to show up and execute correctly. What does that mean? It means not instantly jumping at 7:01 on a stock that has been moving at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., right? My goal is to sit down, watch flow, understand the market environment, try to understand the herd mentality and see where money is flowing in and out of. Number two, I'm going to keep tracking every single trade that I take. There's a little Excel sheet that I have here under in one of these monitors that I track every trade on, because it's very easy for me to like get loose and start over trading. But if I'm tracking every single trade and kind of like writing down notes as I go, it's easier for me to be like, all right, this is trade number 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm gonna carry on doing that. I was a little more disconnected from the chat room today, and I think I'm going to repeat that tomorrow, only because yesterday I had so much FOMO because I was only up hundreds of dollars while my friends were up like 10 grand, 15 grand, and I had a lot of FOMO, not gonna lie, and that forced me to trade differently on how I normally trade. So I'm gonna be a little more detached from the chat room again tomorrow, and I'm gonna stick to my 2 setups just like I've been doing in Trader Rehab. I'm going to be aware of extended stocks. I'm going to be aware of, algo spikes are popping and dropping. And then I'm going to try to jump in on the stock that actually holds up. I'm not going to try to be a hero and try to catch the next OHAT candle, which will come. If I catch it, good. But if that doesn't happen, it's okay. Like, we're not making careers off of OHAT candles. That's kind of like the cherry on top of a successful strategy. But I'm going to continue to focus on the meat of the strategy, right? Which is, the micro pullbacks, the 1-minute pullbacks, the high day breakouts, the bread and butter. And then from there, is tomorrow Friday? Tomorrow is Friday. From there, I'm going to look to get green and get out, right? I'm going to carry on my lane. I'm going to expose myself to the higher probability stocks, higher probability windows. Once I see the stocks rolling over, I'm going to be very quick to stopping. Market open is going to come. We're going to have a few penny stocks extended as balls, and I'm not going to fight those halts. I'm just going to let them jump around, right? Jump around. Jump. Now, let me clean up this watch list for tomorrow. I don't think there's anything worth watching for continuation here. Did a spectacular job as well avoiding these traps, right? And that's why being in the live stream is helpful, because you get to see what I'm trading. You get to see my commentary, but also kind of like my notes and my technical analysis. This thing started popping up right here and right here, but I'm like, no. A lot of people are zoomed in and are like, wow, look at these candles. All right, here we go. Algo spike above the 200 EMA. But if you zoom out, it's like we're trading under the shadow of this massive, overhead resistance. So that was a very good job. Like today, I did a very good job at skipping stocks. And there's this S&B Capital quote that I love that says, "Becoming a profitable trader is not about the take. It's not about what trades you take." Shit, I fumbled that. Hold on. Becoming a profitable trader is not about which trades you take, but it's more about which trades you don't take, right? When stocks are going parabolic, when we have China stocks going up hundreds of percent every single morning, everybody makes money, right? Because you buy and everything goes up. But what about when momentum cools off? What about when we have a trap stock? What about when, the cycle shifts? Only profitable traders know which trades to skip. And that's why they stay profitable. So it's all about the trades you skip, right? It's about the trades you don't take. So I did a good job about not taking shit trades. DFSC, this is kind of holding up. FGI, no thank you. All right, so that's going to do for a recap. If you want to learn the hyperscalping strategy, if you want to see me daily live stream, or if you want to join an awesome community, hold on. I actually haven't taken a peek at the P&Ls today. Isn't this crazy? Daily recaps are back. Insane P&Ls are back as well. Pastor is back. So today we have a dual recap, right? Pastor up 10 grand, catching the OHAD candle. Nuclear had a bit of a roller coaster today, but still finishing green. Like, guys, Dash up 15K. OHAD, another 7-banger. 7K a day, keeps it 95 away. Good day for Alice. Jimmy with the base hit. All right, check some of the links in the description down below. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow.